Hi everybody and welcome to this Friday's tutorial, and it's going to be awesome because I'm going to discuss with you all kinds of horizons in landscaping, flat mountains, forests, but also inside the city, inside an interior, the still life, and yes, even portraits. Now in this case we are in a flat landscape here at sea, or here at the left bottom in a field with some train tracks there at the ground, and those tracks just disappear at one disappearing point, and we all can see very obviously where our horizon will be. Even though it's foggy, we know where it is. Same goes for this landscape here. It's Peggy's Cove. We've done a tutorial about that. And you can actually see the line between sea and sky, literally. Now here is the horizon crossed over by a rock formation with a lighthouse upon, and here in the front there are some bigger rocks. So here's your sea, your rock, your sky. There is a reflection in the pedal here in front of us. And even there are some little perspective lines in the sky itself made by the clouds. So if I was to put a white sheet underneath, then you can actually see what your composition would be. It's a cross composition, and you can literally see where your horizon is. But now we are in the mountains, and this is getting a little bit more difficult because now we can no longer see our horizon. And there's a full-scale tutorial about this on my Patreon page, of course, with a lot of detail and prints for you for your study purposes. But in this case we are in the mountains, and there is a little electrical house. And this can be helpful because the house is handmade, and we can actually recognize some perspective lines. Now here the lines are going diagonal, but the side of the plank on the side of the house is going completely horizontal. So now instantly I know where my horizon is. Now I can easily see the disappearing lines for the river in the front of us, the lines of the little tree, the tree lines and all kinds of things. But I have to know the perpendicular line of the horizon, so I can easily come up with a composition and to help me draw. So this is what is actually happening if I made a very quick sketch of it. So this is very helpful, of course, but what if I'm in a forest and there is no house, no man-built objects? Then I will just have to grab on to whatever I have. And in this case, it is a little stream that is going through the landscape, and the lines of the surface of the water are always perpendicular. Now at some point I couldn't look upon the water anymore, and that exact spot would be the place and the point of the horizon. Now I can see the motion. I can see the motion of the flow of that little stream there. And I can also see that the trees in front of me, closest to me, are much bigger at the base than the other trees that are in the more far distance. And at this point, I couldn't look up on stuff anymore. So it is a little bit of a guesswork, just guessing where our horizon is, but it would be around here. And of course you don't have to draw in the horizon, because if you don't see it, then you don't have to draw it. But you do have to know where your horizon is. So you have a grab on to deciding what your composition will be. Oh dear. And now we are in a big city. Now, cities are completely man-built, of course. So what you need to do to get a grasp of what you are seeing is to start looking at very, very, eye-catching, disappearing movement lines. Now, these lines on that big pillar there, they are going diagonal, of course, in all kinds of directions, and just draw them out for yourself. But here on the staircases, there is one line where everything is starting to get perpendicular. So this is my actual horizon line. And that line also crosses just in the eyes of the dark figure that is in front of us. So the person that made this picture was actually at the same eye level as the dark figure on the right front. And here you can see the stair steps slowly but certainly coming to that horizontal line, and then they are going to bend downwards, and above the horizon line they bend upwards. And this is a massive drawing when you watch it because of all those disappearing lines. This is a magnificent way of looking at stairs going up and down and people upon those stairs. It is amazing, and that is why I chose this one. But still, you can still see where your horizon line is. And now we are inside. Of course, now we also cannot see what sky is and what ground is, and maybe you are up on top of the world on a high skyscraper. Also here, just concentrate on the angle on which the lines are getting straight. You can even take a right angle, like this ruler here, with that right angle, and then you literally can see where the lines are becoming horizontal. So if I was to put over a little bit of plastic and then start drawing, start catching an idea of composition, then I simply see that the pillars in front of the staircase are at my horizon line. All your vertical lines will stay vertical. All other lines will be in some kind of a diagonal angle, except on that horizon. And there's another way of checking, and that is the staircases. You can look upon the staircases towards the horizon, and then afterwards you cannot look upon those steps anymore. Now here on the right we see a very beautiful ink drawing, and also here you can take a right angle and decide, okay, at this point my lines are getting straight. So then you know the eye level of the person that was drawing this magnificent ink drawing, and you can see all the lines in the ceilings, and the verticals stay vertical. The diagonals you need to search out, and you need to search out your horizon, and then you get the idea of composition. Now this is a still life, and this is a glass held steady by a book, because there's a moth in that glass, and you can actually see by making use of the side of the book that is up on top of that glass. You can see exactly where those disappearing lines go to. Also, you can take the candle holder, and at one point the line is getting straight. So double check, but you actually can see where your horizon is. And all the attention in this one point perspective is going toward that mud. The mud that is inside the glass that is held steady by the book that is on top of it. So, a beautiful composition, and your horizon is not the edge of the table, but it is just above it. But in portraits, is it then important to know where your horizon is? Yes, it is. Here you can see my husband, and I took a picture of him. He is 1.5 head higher than me. So the eye level is just underneath the little collar, underneath the collar. And I can actually, if I placed his head in a box, in a cube, then I could actually see underneath his jaw. Now this is important to know, that the person that is viewing, the person that took that picture, is lower than the actual person itself. So I've made a second drawing. In this case, my eye level is just beneath the mouth. And if I was to place this figure again, this head, inside a cube, then I actually literally can see the disappearing lines. These are for the pupils, the nose entrances, and the corner of the mouth. And I need to draw those in the right perspective so I can make a convincing portrait. So, having said that, and I really hope that you've learned a lot from this quick tutorial, that this will bring you a lot of insights for now and in the future. Of course, you can see everything back and print out all those examples on my Patreon page for your study purposes. So, I hope you will give this tutorial a big thumbs up, and hopefully I will see you again next Friday.